Imagine someone who walks through life with a shield up, constantly scanning for disrespect, always assuming the worst in others. They take things personally. They feel attacked when no harm was meant. Their days are spent in a state of hypervigilance, bracing themselves against a world they perceive as hostile and unforgiving. It's exhausting to live like this, always on edge, always ready to deflect or defend. And slowly they push people away. Not because others are cruel, but because their wounds keep speaking louder than reality. Connection becomes a minefield, intimacy feels impossible, and joy becomes a fleeting visitor. What if being easily offended is not protecting your dignity, but sabotaging your growth? But what if there's another way? What if you could choose courage over comfort, connection over isolation, and growth over stagnation? Let's talk about how taking everything personally actually blocks our growth. It's a common trap that many of us fall into, often without even realizing it. We interpret the actions and words of others through a lens that centers us, making it difficult to see the bigger picture. Because here's the thing, not everything is about you. People are complex and their actions are influenced by a myriad of factors, most of which have nothing to do with you. When we believe that everything is about us, every side-eye, every offhand comment, every difference of opinion, we set ourselves up for a world of hurt. This mindset creates unnecessary stress and anxiety, making it hard to focus on what truly matters. We walk around with this invisible bullseye on our backs, just waiting for the next dart to hit. This constant state of alertness drains our energy and keeps us from being fully present in our lives. But what if we took a step back and considered that maybe, just maybe, other people are living their own lives, grappling with their own insecurities, and navigating their own messy, beautiful journeys? By shifting our perspective, we can begin to see the humanity in others and understand that their actions are not always a reflection of us. We can start to see feedback, not as a personal attack, but as an opportunity for growth. Constructive criticism can be a valuable tool for self-improvement if we allow ourselves to be open to it. We can hear jokes without assuming malicious intent. Humor can be a bridge that connects us, rather than a weapon that divides us. And we can engage in disagreements without feeling the need to build walls of defense. Healthy debates can lead to deeper understanding and stronger relationships. Think about a time when someone offered you feedback, and it felt like a punch to the gut. It's a natural reaction to feel defensive, but what if we paused and considered the intention behind the words? Did you immediately jump into defensive mode? Or did you take a deep breath, try to see the situation from their perspective, and ask yourself if there was any truth in what they were saying? This moment of reflection can be incredibly powerful. We miss out on the joy of genuine connection, the richness of diverse perspectives, and the transformative power of vulnerability. When we let go of taking things personally, we open ourselves up to deeper, more meaningful interactions. You can choose to let go of the stories you tell yourself about what it means to be worthy and embrace the truth that you are enough, just as you are. This self-acceptance is the foundation for personal growth and a more fulfilling life. Let's talk about the allure of offense. Because let's be honest, sometimes being offended feels kind of powerful. It gives us a sense of righteous indignation, a way to elevate ourselves above the perceived transgression. We get to stand on our moral high horse and cast judgment on those who have wronged us. It's seductive, this feeling of being right, of being justified in our anger and resentment. But here's the hard truth. That feeling of power is an illusion. It's a fragile facade built on a foundation of insecurity and fear. Because underneath that righteous anger, underneath that need to be right, often lies a deep-seated fear of being hurt, rejected, or misunderstood. Think about it. When you're truly secure in yourself, when you know your worth, do you feel the need to lash out at every perceived slight? Reacting instead of reflecting, lashing out instead of leaning in, might give us the illusion of control, but in reality, it reveals our emotional wounds. It's about recognizing the difference between reacting from a place of hurt and responding from a place of strength. It's about moving from a place of reactivity to a place of reflection, from a place of fear to a place of courage. Let's dive into the heart of the matter: emotional triggers. These are the moments that catch us off guard, the instances that seem to come out of nowhere and leave us reeling. Those moments when something someone says or does hits a nerve, sending us spiraling into anger, resentment, or hurt. It's as if a switch has been flipped, and suddenly we're no longer in control of our emotions. Those moments when we feel that familiar surge of offense, that urge to defend ourselves, to prove our point, to make the other person understand the depth of our pain. It's a visceral reaction, one that often leaves us feeling drained and misunderstood. But what if I told you that those triggers, those seemingly insignificant comments or actions that have the power to derail our entire day, are actually messengers? They are signals from our subconscious, pointing to areas within us that need attention and healing. When we're easily offended, the issue isn't always what was said, it's what we believe about ourselves. These beliefs are often deeply ingrained, formed from past experiences and traumas that have left their mark on our psyche. It's the stories we tell ourselves about our worthiness, our lovability, our place in the world. These narratives shape our reactions and influence how we perceive the actions and words of others. If someone says something harmless and it stings, that's a clue. It's a sign that there's an unresolved issue within us, a wound that has yet to heal. That's our inner critic piping up, confirming our deepest fears, whispering those insidious lies we've come to believe as truth. This inner voice can be relentless, constantly undermining our self-esteem and sense of worth. Think about a time when you were deeply offended by something someone said. Reflect on the intensity of your reaction and the thoughts that followed. What was the thought or belief that immediately popped into your head? Was it a fear of inadequacy, a sense of unworthiness, or perhaps a fear of rejection? Was it, "I'm not good enough"? This thought can be a powerful indicator of underlying self-doubt and insecurity. "I'm not worthy of love"? This belief can stem from past experiences of rejection or abandonment, leaving a lasting impact on our self-perception. Am I going to be rejected? This fear can be deeply rooted in our past, influencing our present interactions and relationships. Triggers are like emotional landmines, buried deep within our subconscious, remnants of past hurts and traumas. They lie dormant until something or someone steps on them, causing an emotional explosion. But instead of viewing these triggers as enemies, what if we saw them as opportunities for growth? Each trigger is a chance to learn more about ourselves, to understand our pain, and to begin the process of healing. Each trigger, each surge of offense, is a chance to delve into our own emotional landscape, to uncover the root of our pain, and to begin the healing process. It's an invitation to explore our inner world and to address the wounds that have been left unattended. So, the next time you feel that familiar sting of offense, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's this really about? What is the underlying issue that needs to be addressed? What wound is being touched here? By asking these questions, we can begin to understand our triggers and use them as a pathway to healing and self-discovery. Let's talk about the impact of chronic offense on our relationships. It's a topic that often goes unspoken, yet it affects so many of us in profound ways. Because here's the hard truth: constantly being offended, constantly walking on eggshells, constantly bracing ourselves for the next perceived attack, it pushes people away. It creates an environment where genuine interaction becomes nearly impossible. It creates distance, breeds resentment, and stifles the kind of authentic connection that makes life worth living. Over time, this distance can turn into a chasm, making it harder and harder to bridge the gap. Think about it. Would you feel comfortable sharing your true thoughts and feelings with someone who you knew might take offense at any moment? The fear of causing offense can be paralyzing, leading to a lack of open communication. Would you feel safe being vulnerable, expressing your needs, or even just cracking a joke, knowing that it might be met with anger or judgment? Probably not. This constant self-censorship can erode the very foundation of our relationships. And it's not because the people in our lives are cruel or uncaring. It's because they're human. They have their own fears, insecurities, and need for emotional safety. They crave connection, but they also crave safety and respect. When these needs are not met, they naturally start to pull away. When we create an environment where every word is scrutinized, every intention is questioned, and every interaction feels like a potential minefield, people start to withdraw. They become wary and guarded, and the warmth in the relationship begins to fade. Friends stop being honest, fearing that their words will be twisted or misinterpreted. This lack of honesty can lead to misunderstandings and further distance. Loved ones walk on eggshells, afraid to trigger another emotional outburst. This constant tension can be exhausting and unsustainable. Opportunities dry up, not because we're unworthy, but because people are afraid of our reactions. They start to see us as unpredictable and difficult to be around. We become isolated, alone in our bubble of perceived insults, convinced that the world is against us. This isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness and despair. But what if, in reality, we're standing in our own way? What if our chronic offense is a barrier we've built ourselves, preventing us from experiencing true connection? What if our chronic offense is actually preventing us from experiencing the very connection, love, and belonging we so desperately crave? It's a sobering thought, but one that can lead to profound change. It's about choosing love over fear, connection over isolation, and growth over stagnation. By letting go of chronic offense, we open the door to deeper, more meaningful relationships. The truth is, you don't need to defend yourself from every word. You need to defend yourself from the lie that you're not enough. Let's flip the switch. Shift from, they disrespected me, to what am I reacting to? Shift from, they shouldn't have said that, to how do I want to show up? Shift from, that was so offensive, to, is there a lesson or truth here? Shift from reaction to reflection. Now, let's lock in this transformation. Say to yourself, I don't need to take everything personally. I am secure in who I am. I choose peace over reaction. Not everything deserves my energy. I reflect before I respond. I let go of offense and grow through understanding. You can keep reacting and stay stuck in your old patterns, or you can flip the switch and choose calm over chaos. Take back control. It's not always about you. Don't take it so personally and choose not to be so easily offended.